Amid the Delhi High Court Judge Cashall case, the debate over NJAC has been revived to replace the Collegium. So let's explain to you what the NJAC is and will it become a reality. The NJAC stands for National Judicial Appointments Commission and was an idea that almost became a reality years ago to replace the Supreme Court Collegium. So the idea behind the NJAC was to ensure the appointment of judges, their transfers, recruitments and all matters related to the judiciary essentially would have been handled by this commission rather than the Collegium of Judges, as is currently the case. So right now, the Collegium system is in place. It's a unique mechanism for the appointment and transfer of judges in India's higher judiciary. Established through Supreme Court judgments, it grants senior judges the authority to recommend appointments, ensuring judicial primacy in decision-making in all judicial matters. The Collegium wasn't set up by any article in the Constitution, mind you, but rather by a series of Supreme Court judgments. The Collegium consists of the Chief Justice of India and 4 of the senior-most judges in the Supreme Court. So right now, the Collegium recommends names for appointments or transfers. The Union Law Minister can raise objections, but if the Collegium chooses to sweep them aside, then their view is supreme. So there can be no intervention, no challenges to their decision. Essentially, a Collegium's decision remains supreme. Now, the reason that the NJAC debate was kicked off 10 years ago and even now is because many believe that the Collegium system currently lacks transparency. There have also been charges of nepotism and a few controversies surrounding decisions on transfers. So that's why the NJAC idea was born. The National Judicial Appointments Commission was a proposed constitutional body which would do what the Collegium does now. So the Commission would have had in its panel the Chief Justice of India, 2 of the senior-most Supreme Court judges, the Union Law Minister and 2 eminent persons who would be nominated by a high panel committee. So it would have some representation from the Supreme Court, but others too. A few months after they came to power for the first time, the Narendra Modi government in August 2014 brought in the NJAC Act. Almost all the parties in both houses of parliament and more than 50% of states, including those led by the Congress and the left, unanimously ratified laws to bring in the NJAC Act. Now, this consensus, mind you, was necessary considering the NJAC was being introduced by amending the Constitution. Now, the Commission was established by amending the Constitution through the 99th Constitution Amendment. With the 99th Constitutional Amendment Act 2014 passed by the Lok Sabha on 13th August 2014 and by the Rajya Sabha the next day on 14th August 2014.
My party, the BJP, the NDA, I myself as an individual have always and consistently been a supporter of the National Judicial Commission. We supported it pre-1993. We have supported it through all these stages. And when we were in government, he's very right that I did introduce the bill.
But the NJAC was struck down by the Supreme Court. In a collective order a year later, on 16th October 2015, the Supreme Court, by a majority of 4:1, struck down the NJAC Act, stating that this kind of a commission was a clear attempt to compromise independence of the judiciary, which, according to them, went against the Constitution's basic structure. So since then, there's been a raging debate over whether there's a need for an NJAC or at least reform in how the current Collegium functions to ensure more transparency. With the case of Justice Yashwant Varma now, the conversation over NJAC has been revived.